Okay, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Pagemaster with me, the Pagemaster. And normally I do it in that back corner there, but I gotta read off the screen today, specifically because I don't have a printed out version of the pages for this episode. This is going to be sort of a companion to the Mysterious Nemo series I did for Synechronology. There was just some details about one of the productions that I couldn't really fit in or justify into that multiple part series that we did. And I just wanted to cover this because I found it really interesting. It's the 1973 version starring Omar Sharif, and it was just the hardest one for me to find and source and just find information about. But eventually I found somebody online that had uploaded a copy of the 1973 soundtrack, which also provided full scans of the liner notes, and somebody had already done a short essay on the production, and that is where I got most of my information from. Now, if you're interested in learning more about Captain Nemo and all the various adaptations over the years, check out Mysterious Nemo. It'll be in my Synechronology playlist, and so you can find that there. Now, before we jump straight into the liner notes, a little bit of background. This adaptation of Mysterious Island was a French, Italian, and Spanish co-production, which was intended to be a 5-part miniseries. The dialogue was dubbed in various languages, and the copy that I saw, it was German with English subtitles, and it was hard subbed, so that's just the way I watched it. But there are various versions that have been known. There's a 5-part TV miniseries, which is about 4.5 hours long. There's a 90-minute theatrical cut. There's also a 2.5-hour feature film as well. It's all very confusing. Okay, so the setup is, we've got this producer who's French. He really wants to bring this Mysterious Island adaptation to the screen in the best way he can. He wants to recreate his chemistry from previous productions with his Spanish friend Eduardo Manzanos, and they team up with Antonio Bardem, a Spanish director, to try and tackle this production. Bardem, influenced in part by James Mason's excellent performance in the Disney version from 1954 and their friendship from previous endeavors, tried to cast the prestigious actor in the role of Captain Nemo. When Mason declined the role, the French producers chose Egyptian Omar Sharif for the Hindu prince who became the vengeful Nemo, thus returning to the character originally devised by Verne, but diluted after decades of film adaptations. The other members of the main cast were actors who lived in France, save for the young Harbert, whose part was played by the director's son, the cousin of the now famous Javier Bardem, as well as several Spanish and Italian supporting actors as the pirate invaders. Before shooting of the miniseries had concluded, Eduardo Manzanos decided not to invest any more money and edited the existing material into a 2-hour feature film. The Spanish producer tried to gather the actors in La Pedreza, at the northwest of the Comunidad de Madrid, with the aim of filming a few shots necessary to close the film properly. But both the cast and the director refused to do it, and Manzanos had to film the final shots of the island's destruction with some clumsy made models. For his part, Jacques Barre wanted to finish his project in the epic way it had been conceived. Without any reasonable agreement with Manzanos in sight, Barre continued with his own idea, finished the miniseries as he had projected it, and broadcast it on French TV in December 1973. 8 months after Manzanos had distributed his version to Spanish theaters, Bardem, indignant, suggested that his name not appear in the shortened theatrical version, but he didn't get his way, and suffered a new setback when he saw the credits of the French edit already distributed by European TV channels, including Spain. Bardem's name was listed together with Frenchman Henri Colpi, who had completed the second half of the shooting, and, adding insult to injury, only in second place. Barre, logically upset by Manzanos' cunning, had tried to make his production as completely French as possible. Although he used to work mainly in documentaries and shorts, Colpi had also won a Golden Palm in 1961 Cannes Film Festival and was highly regarded for editing other films that he had done. This crazy spat between Manzanos and Barre resulted in 2 significantly different but equally successful productions. Bardem's film was seen by 1.5 million people in Spanish theaters, considerably more than the other 2 contemporary Spanish fantasy films that were out at the time. The mini-series obviously included many sequences, some of them very interesting, like those detailing the scientific survival experiments used by Engineer Smith that didn't appear in the film version. But even in the episodes they have in common, some differences can be noted in terms of alternate shots or different frames of the same scene. The shoddy models of the Nautilus pier used by Manzanos don't compare with the much more elaborate trick photography of the French version. The praiseworthy work of Spanish stage designers José Luis Galicia and Jaime Perez Cubero, together with special effects technician Manuel Baguero. However, in spite of the multiple differences between the two versions, one element remained almost unchanged and stood out positively in both miniseries and film, and that would be the extraordinary soundtrack composed by Italian Gianni Ferio. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty crazy. There's been no official release, I believe, for North America for either version of this film. You're gonna have to find a download for it. Good luck with whatever hard subs and dubbing you get. We'll see you guys in the next Pagemaster. Please like, please subscribe. That would be fantastic.